All right, in this video I'm going to walk you through how to do these mole conversion problems, if I can talk. Remember, you're going to be using dimensional analysis, or what we like to call the factor label. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose a pen color that's not really light like that. There we go. You want to identify what your known is and what your unknown is. So it's giving us, we've got 13.5 grams of sulfur dioxide. So I know I've got 13.5 grams of SO2. My unknown is how many molecules. Now, we have to use our conversion factors in order to get from grams to molecules. So I'm just going to write these on the top here. So we know that 1 mole is equal to the molar mass of a compound. 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles. And we don't have to really worry about volume in this because it's not asking us to calculate a volume. But if we needed to, remember 1 mole is 22.4 liters, but that's only of a gas. So I'm going to start with my known in the top of my chart, so 13.5 grams of SO2. And it really is, it may seem like it would save you some time not to write down SO2, but as we get into more advanced problems, you'll see that this is really helpful to keep track of what compound you're using. So I've got grams on the top, and if you remember factor label, if we have grams on the top, we need grams on the bottom. So I'm just going to put a little gram there. So I'm going to go to my conversion factor. Well, the molar mass is in grams. So this is the conversion factor I'm going to need. So I'm going to line these up so that grams is on the bottom. So I need to figure out what is the molar mass of SO2. We have sulfur, we have oxygen, we've got 1 sulfur atom, we've got 2 oxygen atoms. This is just calculating the molar mass like you did in the other section. Now I need to look up the weight of the compounds. Now I just said weight of the compounds, I meant weight of the atoms. So sulfur, if you look that on your periodic table, is going to be 32.07. and oxygen is 16.00. I've got 2 of the oxygen, and I've got 1 of the sulfur. So I'm going to use my calculator and just do this in one step. So 2 times 16 equals plus 32.07. And that's going to give me a molar mass for this compound of 64.07 grams per mole. So now I can put that here, 64.07 grams per 1 mole of SO2. Now remember, when you end, we were looking for how many molecules, so I'm not done with this yet. I've got mole on the top, so I need mole on the bottom. The next conversion factor is I'm going to need this one. But I need to make sure that my units are matching up. So I'm going to put 1 mole SO2 on the bottom, and I'm going to put my 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. In this case, it's going to be particles, and molecules is our particle. Now I'm going to double check myself. Grams on the top, grams on the bottom. Mole on the top, mole on the bottom. I'm left with molecules, which is what I wanted in my unknown. So I'm ready to put this in the calculator and figure out my answer. All right, so I put that in the calculator and I get 1.28. I'm going to use 3 significant figures times 10 to the 23rd molecules. And that would be my final answer. Let's do one more. What is the mass of 2.23 times 10 to the 23rd atoms of sulfur? So first thing I'm going to do is write down my known. And that's atoms of sulfur. My unknown is what is the mass. So set up my table, put my known on the top, 2.23 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. So here's my conversion factor, 1 mole equals 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles. In this case, it'll be atoms. So I'm definitely going to need that one. Make sure that if atoms is on the top, I need atoms on the bottom. So 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms in 1 mole. We're going to mass. So I'm going to need another conversion that gives me 1 mole and then the molar mass of sulfur in grams. So I look on the periodic table and I look at sulfur. Sulfur has a molar mass of 32.07. I guess I could look up at the other one here. I didn't even need to use my periodic table. So now I'm ready to put in this conversion factor, and that's going to be mole is on the top, so I'm going to need 1 mole on the bottom. And then my molar mass, 32.07 grams. Double check myself, make sure my units are canceling off. Atoms, atoms, mole cancels mole. I'm left with grams, and of course gram is the unit of mass. So now I'm ready for my calculator. When you put that in the calculator, the answer you get is 11.88 grams of sulfur.